Everyone. Hello, hello. I don't know why, but I was thinking about that song. Um, I've grown accustomed to your face, accustomed to your walk, accustomed to your talk. You guys know that song? It's really pretty. Yeah, I'm just checking the stream. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. What a beautiful Sunday it is here in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. That is where I am. I don't know where you are, but I had a very nice sleep. I feel like I finally got myself a little bit of rest. I looks like I got a little bit of a shine on my glasses. How can I take care of that so it looks a little bit? Oh, that's not too horrible, is it? Yeah, I think it's all right. So what have I been up to? First off, how is everybody in beautiful, beautiful YouTube land? These are tense times, but we got each other. And we are creating heaven on earth, and we are sharing it to the best of our ability with others. And in this way, we can hopefully breathe peace into a troubled world, right? So if you want to come together to create peace, heaven on earth, please join us for today's brunch discussion. We'll be talking about everything that's going on in the world or anything that you want to talk about. I am here to serve you as a fellow human being and somebody who's also a professional empath and remote viewer. So that's what's going on here. We get together every Sunday and we make friends. Many of you have become very close personal friends of mine. I also want to introduce you to the amazing Joel Tilson. He is going to be helping us today. He is the floor director. He comes here voluntarily, though I should probably start discussing some kind of compensation with him since he works so hard. But Joel, I believe, comes from the great state of Wyoming. Joel is also a great cook. Are you single, Joel? Maybe we can help the floor director get married. Also, we have several other people helping today. Kay Travel Tarot, a very close friend of mine now. We have a very deep friendship. So it just goes to show you can make good friends here on. I miss you, Kay. I love you. I miss you. Good morning to you. Kay is helping as well, as is Melody Harmon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to all of you who have. Hi, Fillerin. Thank you for helping out our moderators. As you can see, we are continuing to raise money for the Palestinian refugees in Gaza. Don't believe everything you hear on television about the Israeli people or about Israeli settlers. I am a proud Israeli American and a proud Israeli settler. Became Israeli back in the 80s, settling in Ofra. And I'm the only person in this community that is working, evidently, raising money for Gaza. So sometimes the world is a little bit not so black and white. When you have seen war, when you have had to go to a bomb shelter, when you have seen terrorists firsthand, you know what that suffering feels like. And that's why we have to do everything we can to help innocent people in Gaza, because we, on the other side, know what that feels like. And so that's why we are doing this fundraiser for them. And we pray for their safety and that cooler heads will prevail. Amen, amen. And with that, let's do the Empath's prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we Hold on. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, we're ready. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we come together and we say, Amen. Amen, everyone. And thank you so much if you have been able to donate to the World Central Kitchen. They have been able to get into Gaza, and they are administering those delicious meals that you have paid for as we speak. So thank you, thank you. Well, a couple announcements about our book club. The book of the month is The Call of the Cards, and it was written by the amazing Heather Hardison. Heather Hardison. And this is part of a 3-part book series. Isn't that lovely? The Divining Sisters series. Alexandra Steele, a clinical psychologist, stumbles upon a mystical store in downtown Memphis, Tennessee, where she encounters tarot cards for the first time. She doesn't realize it at the time, but this simple encounter will leave her life forever changed as she uncovers a world of past life connections to the cards and the craft of divination. It's very, very good. It's very, very exciting. We chose it for the October read because we wanted something that was a little witchy, in honor of Samhain and the witching hour of October. All right. Well, let's turn the camera over and start saying hi to some of you. Tell us what you're eating. Tell us what you're drinking. Tell us what part of the world you're coming from. I see Fillerin's in the house. I believe she comes from California. Jill Linda, hello. Washington State is here, proud. What y'all eating? Looks like Deborah Murphy is having cooked greens. But I love cooked greens and potatoes. There's this vegan recipe I learned where you grill the onion and then the potato, and then you add the greens. So the greens cook, and then you can add paprika and garlic and whatnot, and you can serve that as if you make it like paprikash, you put the paprika in, and then you can put a little apple cider vinegar. Then it becomes like a Hungarian dish. It's really good. I guess it is a Hungarian dish. What am I saying? I guess in Hungary they would go pick wild greens and cook them up with onions and potatoes and a little vinegar. It's actually, and paprika, of course. Everything in Hungarian food is paprika, right? But after I had that Hungarian potatoes with, I guess you could even do dandelions or anything, but is that good. Vinegar goes so great with bitters in general. Yeah, to cut the bitter, some people will add vinegar and sometimes a little bit of sweet. If you don't want to use sugar for your sweet, well, I think maple syrup goes great actually with apple cider. If you're looking for some of those holiday recipes, have you tried that? You can pair, if you're trying to get off sugar, you can pair the apple cider with maple syrup, and then that can be your base if you're trying to get that sweet and sour flavor, but you want it to be, healthy. Yeah, just add maple. Oh, thank you, Kathy, for that donation to World Kitchen. Thank you, Anonymous. Much help. Much appreciation for your help. Huge donation, $101. Awesome. Hi, Yolanda. I think I've said hi to you already. Oh, Geocosmic. Good to see you. Geocosmic, how is your homework coming along? She's getting her teaching certification in HCRV. Awesome possum. Well, what do people want to talk about in terms of remote views? Unfortunately, I had some bad news for the remotes, or good news, depending. We had talked a lot about, people had asked me to scan the grid if I could see about what was going to go on militarily. I felt that Saudi Arabia had to publicly band together, make a statement supporting Palestinian rights, etc. But they're not going to blow their mega financial deals with Israel and the United States, or the fact that they're trade partners, or any of that. So I saw joint military operations, 10,000. It's one of those things where it's like, it's not a fun place to go, but people want to get a heads up. So 10,000, I guess, what were they, Marines, have just left yesterday for Saudi Arabia. So it's moving in that direction. It looks like they're going to take out strategic Hezbollah targets, and there's already exchanging fire with Islamic extremists out of Iraq and Yemen. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's moving in the direction we did not want it to move in. But unfortunately, this is probably getting really close to basically an all-out war between Iran and the United States. And that's, by doing nothing, Hezbollah has gotten stronger. I mean, we're talking about 3 battalions, right? When I was asked to go up in remote, I found three battalions. So there was one, the first one, which is attacking from the north, and then there was another one that was further down east, and then further back there was one training. So I found 3 battalions, and so they started the distraction in Gaza. This was Iran and Russia. This was a joint effort, which has created immense strain between Russia and Israel. And so they started attacking from the north, Hezbollah, and then the PLA, Palestinian Liberation Army, came in. And so now they're in the middle of it because they want to take Hamas out and possibly work with Israel to oversee Gaza. So now they're in the middle of it. And then you have this 2nd battalion potentially coming in here. So then you have the American. So it's a mess. Yeah. Trump pleads guilty in Georgia. I don't know, Joel. We did do the Empath prayer, so I think we can definitely look into that. What I would love to do, now that it looks like everybody is sitting at the brunch table and we've all ordered our food, we've all shared what we're having with the table. I am having, yes, I've already had my, I always have the same thing at the brunch table, but I mix it up a little bit. My brunch is Orac protein and greens with almond and oat milk. I like to mix them. And then I put in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter powder for extra protein. I like the taste. Some chocolate powder, and I sweetened it with a little maple syrup, and then I shake it up. It's got about 30 grams of protein. It's vegan because I don't like to rely on animal protein. So that is what I bring to the brunch table. That, and I already finished it, and then I'm having my coffee. Oh, I have another thing for you guys that I told you about, because I'm in a chocolate mood lately. I'm upset about what's going on, in the world right now. I threw some dry chocolate powder is all I had. I put it on. I made another egg cream, a vegan egg cream. Okay, honey. So it's soda water, Coke. Well, I don't know what this is. I invented it. It's soda water, coconut water, and some of the vegan vanilla chai from Bolt's Farm, which is soy-based. I don't do that great with soy. My ancestors didn't eat soy. But anyway, it's pretty good stuff. L'chaim. It's also good to settle your stomach if you have I had the worst food poisoning. Byron Donald says he's running for speaker. Whoa, we'll take a look at that. Chocolate is very good for you. You know what I'm thinking I'm going to do now that we've got 242 people? How would you guys like a reading? I think we should do a collective reading now because we've got... Guys, would you like a personal reading? Well, it'll be collective, but Spirit makes sure that everybody gets their personal reading. I'm thinking we need to do a collective reading. We've done our announcements. We did our prayer. Just in terms of the remote view, I'm not happy. I didn't like seeing America back because we got hit. So many Americans have died in Lebanon, right? So I didn't enjoy, that's not who wants to go to a remote like that and have to deliver? I don't like being the person to have to deliver news like that. Yeah, it's not what we enjoy. We want good news, happy news. All right, so did I put out that we were doing the collective? Yes. Okay. If there's anything specific you guys want me to focus on in terms of the collective, you can let me know too. Like, you may want me to focus mostly on what the collective economic situation is going to be like, the housing situation, and I can have the collectives try and be more based. But usually the collectives just kind of do their own thing, I find. So how it works is that I give the reading, and it's kind of like a smorgasbord in the sense that whatever speaks to you, you take, and then whatever doesn't speak to you, you just pass it down the table. All right, so we're going to be looking at this week for the collective, how we will most likely be doing as a community. If it doesn't apply to you, pass it down the table. Okay, interesting. I'm seeing a lot of communication. I'm seeing communication devices, a lot of communication, which leads me to think that one of the spiritual lessons that is really hard for many of us is the ability to have uncomfortable conversations with people. There's a lot of us that are in situations with other people where we may be having to establish our boundaries, but do it in a way where we don't have to necessarily create a huge conflict. You may find yourself in a situation where you're having conflict with people. You need to talk about it, and avoiding it is not going to help you. Part of being an adult is that we have to be able to sit down and tell people that we're having issues with, whether it's in your place of work or it's in your personal relationships. But I'm seeing a lot of communication stress. It's so interesting. When I went into the remote and I was praying on this for you folks, I saw an old-fashioned phone, like Pennsylvania 65000. Was that the number? How was it from where they would ding, 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 and they would get an operator and please call Pennsylvania, whatever. So that was that was kind of the image I saw for everybody. So it's a time of us learning to reach out to one another and also learning to communicate with one another. I think everyone's going to be okay financially. I think that these are difficult times. I think there's a lot of people angrily trying to fight for what they have. If you look at the global situation, it's all about trade. We kind of gave people a heads up 5 years ago when we went into this. We did, because I teach people the importance of scanning the grid as remote viewers. What that means is, imagine you're looking at the globe. Imagine that you had the ability as a remote viewer to fly out in space and to float over the globe and to simply examine this stuff from a non-biased perspective, feeling all of the emotions of everyone that lives on Earth while simultaneously being able to acknowledge objective reality. If you can do that, you've become a wonderful heart-centered remote viewer, and that is what it is to be a professional empath. We feel everything that others are going through, but we ideally have the ability to step back and, from a place of the prefrontal cortex, the frontal cortex, look at things objectively as best we can so that we can deliver the information to the best of our ability. And so when we go back and we look at this conflict, we have to be able to step back and look at it and see it as an issue of not enough. You know, this is something that Gabor Mate talks about, the trauma of the Jewish people, right? He was the youngest. He is, his claim to fame, Gabor Mate, he is the youngest child rescued from Auschwitz. What was he, 2 years old? So you have collective trauma. And when you look at these trade routes, you're seeing collective trauma. You're seeing the collective trauma of the Chinese people that didn't even have a rice bowl, let alone rice to put in the rice bowl. People in the West criticizing the communists. We were eating our own feet. People maiming themselves so that they, some maiming their children so that they could get rice to eat, right? So they're going to get their trade route, right? You know, trying to objectively step back and feel that, whoa, man, I'm going to get my trade route, right? You're not going to stop me. You're not going to keep me from my rice bowl. We have to be able to objectively put ourselves in the shoes of that individual. Of course, they're going to fight to get their trade route. These wealthy, fat capitalists are keeping us from our rice bowl. Well, we killed them a few years ago. We can kill them again. And then you have Russia coming in. Yeah, we killed our czar. We can do it again, right? So we're going to join with the Chinese and we're going to build trade routes so that we can get our stuff, which you're keeping us from getting our stuff. And then you have the American side, the axis of evil. They're coming to get our stuff. They're coming to rape our children, you know. So you have all, so if you stand back and you look at the situation objectively, same with Israel, right? The Holocaust says we have nowhere to go, right? Everybody is operating from a place of trauma. And part of what's happening with these trade routes is everybody is carving out a place for me, my rice bowl. The karma here is, how can we stop being reactive and stop thinking in terms of just my trauma? It's like when I put myself energetically, what must it be like to be a pregnant woman in Gaza right now? 50,000 women in Gaza. Those babies are coming. And I can get angry as a feminist, right? I'm an Israeli, I'm a feminist, I'm a settler, but I'm more than anything a feminist. And I'm getting tired of women's bodies being political statements while the baby's coming, you know, determining whether we can have birth control, determining whether or not we, you know, determining where we have our babies. You know, I'm tired of women's bodies being political statements, right? So I can find myself getting emotional just as a feminist, right? But again, how can we just objectively pull back, right? How can we help? How can we help? And it's by recognizing everybody's primal wound. And if the primal wound is everybody's afraid there isn't enough, How can we come to the table collectively with mediators and make sure that everybody's safe and everybody has enough? Because if we could do that, we would end war. Because the fundamental issue here is that people don't feel like they have enough. They've got trauma, they've got generational trauma. They don't feel safe and they don't feel they have enough. The karma card for us this week, stress at night. And it can also be fear of death. I'm up at night, oh my God, what if my heart stops? Well, then you would be dead and you would have no control anyway, so you might as well go to sleep and have a nice, you can't control it anyway, so you might as well get a good night's sleep. In the end, I've been meditating on cows lately. Cows. What do we learn from the cow? The cow is the mother. You see the love coming out of a cow's, she loves her baby, bringing all this milk, this unconditional love of the mother. And you look at these 50,000 women and how they love their babies, and their babies are going to get sent out to become what? Terrorist or whatever, or in the middle of all of this, right? So it's so interesting because from an anthropological perspective, this is the world where we used to find symbols of pregnant mothers everywhere, right? Because in praise of motherhood, the mother comes first. In ancient times, it wasn't the man that comes first. It wasn't the child that comes first. Who comes first in ancient civilization? The mother. Because the mother is the hope of the future. The mother is the one that carries the next generation. So who gets the last piece of bread? The mother, because she needs more food, right? So what has happened to us collectively as human beings that we have stopped having sanctity towards the mother, right? So all of this, we have to get back to the sanctity of the mother. And the earth is the ultimate mother, right? So our final outcome is peace in the garden, and that there is enough. Love the mother, protect the mother, and your needs will be met. Abundance in the garden, wealth. I love the flowing garment, which suggests she might be pregnant, and the flowing of riches from the earth, because the earth is healthy. The peacock, which was a symbol of wealth, or I think the bird. It's a hooded, I think it's a hooded falcon. But these are signs of wealth. Many of you are going to be traveling. I see vacations and travel. What is above you? Theft, thieves running and taking our stuff, right? We want smoother waters lay ahead for us and the rest of the world. People are concerned about jobs. Jobs are leaving, jobs are coming, jobs are being replaced by AI. We are taking the weapons of war away from those who would harm us. A new beginning, a new world, and it's really a new world, a new way of looking at the world. Our opposition is finished. The hope and the fear of the world at this time, that we are confused, that we are collectively confused. The final outcome for all of us, we must have a new global contract. Everyone's life is sacred. Everyone's life is sacred. Everyone's life. The new contract is you do everything in your power to save a life. That's the contract I took when I became a physician. Everyone's life is sacred. Nobody is better than anybody else. No one's life is more sacred than anyone else. That's the new contract. If you have to go into Gaza to get the crazy people, so be it. But you do everything in your power to protect the innocent people, because their lives are sacred. That's the new contract. Your life is sacred. Know Know how valuable your life is, and then you will know the value of somebody else's life. It starts with connecting with divine compassion, taking care of our mothers, protecting our mothers, loving, making the best determination of whether or not a kid's going to wind up a criminal is whether or not his mother felt supported when she was raising him. It's really not complicated. Let's start helping women who are mothers. Don't want terrorists? Treat mothers like gold. Make sure mama is happy. Mama is well fed. Mama has her feet up and she is getting a foot massage. She's not in a bomb shelter somewhere, right? So basically, the takeaway here for the collective reading is that human beings are evolving towards peace, and we will find a way to save this planet and to save ourselves and create peace on earth. It will happen. Understand the final outcome was the Nine of Pentacles, which is peace and abundance on earth. We will come through this. And that is your reading. And now I'm moving towards my second drink. Or is it my third? Because I've got water here as well. Somebody said, make sure you're hydrated, doctor, because my lips were dry because the weather changes. All I do is drink, babe. Okay, coffee. Thank you to 1111 who sent me this coffee. People send me their coffees from all over the place because they know I love coffee. I finished up the coffee from Michelle Knight. Thank you very much. She sent me some Blue Mountain from Jamaica. Oh my gosh, what a delight. Such a wonderful coffee. And now I've moved on to 1111. He sent me some Cafe d'Art. Yes, and pizza's also good. I've been getting into these low acid coffees lately. Yeah. Because acid reflux is kind of spooky. Also, you can do the low acid, then you don't have to give up your coffee. And then you can also do your coconut water and all of that good stuff. Okay. It looks like I'm gotten the order to Blitz. You too, Joel? Must have coffee. Yeah, so Joel is, we're getting the order to Blitz, Blitz, Blitz away. So whatever you folks like, we'll go ahead. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, it really helps the channel. Also, check out all the great merch. Debbie Brady was kind enough to do that for us, the creative director. Any other announcements? Yes, please think about being a member. Membership's a great way to support this channel. If you become an elder, it's just if you become a fairy and angel, it's just $2.99 a month. And we get together once a week in the private salon. We get private readings, get-togethers. If you decide that you would like to learn heart-centered remote viewing, we get together on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. To teach remote viewing. You can join us at any time. And that is at the Elders and Empaths level. And we have a benefactors package, $99 a month, and that gives you a free reading with me once a month. So think about being a member. It's really helpful to the channel. Okay, let's see about these blitzes here. I saw those question marks, and I know that Joel was good to make sure we have. Joel made butter vanilla cupcakes last night. Man, that sounds delicious. So what do you guys think about let's talk about this. Let's get off of politics a little bit because I just think we need a break, and we're all good people and we're all doing our best to help. But so you did great. Now we're going to take a little break. What do you think about all the UFO sightings? Do you think that it's Star Wars? Do you think that we're just seeing more and more advanced technology coming out of these countries, and that it's a fake story, the whole UFO thing, that they just made up a fake story about Greys kidnapping people or whatnot, but it's really just a cover for some covert space force? Or do you think there's something really going on here and that there are multiple beings flying around? See, my theory is that Earth is teeming with life, and that just as an ant doesn't have the conscious awareness of me as a person, I may be so unevolved, I may on Earth not be consciously aware of other life forms right here on Earth. I think like the mistake people are making is that they're assuming they're aliens. How do we not know they aren't just other living beings flying around the planet that we are too primitive to see, comprehend, or make contact with? Just like an ant doesn't have the wherewithal to comprehend me or make contact with me. So Holly wants to know if NASA can find the meteor sample returning to Earth soon. Oh, what they're going to find on the meteor samples? Let's take a look. There was water. So there's evidence that there was water, and there's a glassy sheen on the surface that appears to be evidence of microbial life in the water and possible skeletal life. So that's an exciting finding. It means there may have been some possibility of genetic material of some life. We're not talking about, they're not talking about human beings living on Mars, but possibly sometimes some evidence of possible primitive life form on some water pockets that may have existed. They get their wish, which is what they were looking for. In plainer words, you go and you do microscopic images of some of this, and you see skeletal or markings of what could be some type of single-celled organism of some type. You can't really even call it a skeleton, but there appears to be some evidence or markings that would indicate possibility of primitive life. So very excited they got it back. They got their wish. It worked great. You can see the Nine of Cups and the Magician both. The Three of Wands with the ship coming in again would suggest the possibility that the theory of some type of primitive microbial life is in fact possible. They're going to publish a finding. You can see the High Priestess coming out. So we will be getting some kind of official report coming out fairly soon when it happens. It's exciting. It may not have advanced to the point of life here on Earth, but even if it's just a few euglena-like substances or whatnot, that in and of itself is still, if that's what they find, that's still wonderful, because it means what else is possible in other worlds. And so even though it doesn't point to advanced life, if we even have 4 strands of the DNA, if you have those codons, if you have enough nucleic acid diversity to create primitive life forms, what is it, 4 nucleic acids? There's 4 different types. So on Earth, we know that there were at least 3 in nuclear clouds, right? So when the Earth cooled, they just started hooking up, and that's how you wound up with these chains of nucleic acid, right? So if something similar is happening where nucleic acid is found in these clouds, then that's very exciting. And that seems to be what they find. There you go. Something to be excited about, right? Okay, Joel is bringing us back to Earth. Joint Israeli-NATO, I think so. And I think training the PLA is another thing that they'll be looking at, so that the PLA can take over, and eventually that I think that's probably the goal now with Israel and PLA is probably they'll work. But the problem is that the PLA has had a problem with they're trying to be moderate, but the moderates keep getting assassinated by the extremists, right? So even they trying to be moderate has been a problem because the crazies assassinate their moderates, right? So, but that appears to be the direction they're going in, is that Israel and the Palestinians will do it jointly with the PLA until they get Hamas out, and then eventually over time when they're strong enough. So when we're talking about women evacuating to have their babies, it's temporary until things are safe. People still get to go back if they want to. It's about using women's bodies. And for me, that's a feminist issue also. So I'm just sick of women being used. You know, our bodies should not be political statements, right? The situation, Joel, is not good. You have the situation right now trying to take weapons away from our enemy, but you can see potentially communication could collapse between our allies. You know, you've got this, it's a very unstable situation here. Everybody wants to blame everybody else, and nobody wants to actually go in and save these people and get them out of there because, oh, well, then the political, who cares? You know, stop being politically correct and go in and save these people, because Israel's starting in the north, but eventually it's 350 square miles. I accidentally said feet because I was tired. 350 square miles of tunnels with weapons. Of course, the entire area is going to be demolished. That's objective reality. So objective reality is you cannot have a baby in a war zone. So they need to go temporarily to safety, Cyprus, wherever, you know, take them. And that is what they're talking now about. I think Erdogan feels guilty. You know, he should feel guilty. You have a mama. We all had a mama, right? But you can see intolerance, refusing to help. And that's what's creating the problem. Hopes and fears the military partnership. Healing will come to the area. And also the rescuer comes, Knight of Wands. It's interesting because we have a moral responsibility to rescue the captives, right? So Israel has 300 captives, but you could also argue that the Palestinian people are captives, right? They're going to have their babies and whatnot. And so that's another reason why the world has a moral responsibility to get them to safety. Final outcome, like Five of Pentacles, this is not what you want to be seeing when people are fighting for their lives, right? On both sides. So taking away the weapons of war. You can see your cards, the military, partnership, final outcome. Baby's coming, healing, right? Archangel Raphael, the healer comes. Knight of Wands, they're coming swiftly to help. Yeah. Not a good situation. Trump plead guilty in Georgia. Goodness gracious. Do people feel, is it just me, or do you guys feel like Trump's mental health is deteriorating really, really rapidly? I mean, that's not saying much considering the mental state he was in when he was the president, but I'm saying, don't you think he dies before? I mean, I don't want to say dies, but don't you think this is dragging on so long that he would probably pass away before anything happened? I mean, I just don't know. Let's see. Trump pleading guilty. I remember when all the craziness was going on, and I remember a lot of what was it? I just remember thinking, is this legal? Is he going to be able to get away with this stuff? And you see all of the lawsuits. Clearly, he didn't get away with it. But maybe he'll just run out of the clock, and maybe that's how he'll get away with it. Oh, Karen, I want to go hang out with you. Karen's having shrimp and grits. Where are you having that? I thought, really? You're having shrimp and grits where? Oh, Trump pleads guilty. Shame-faced, red-faced, right? The shame, grief. Intense evidence against him. Battling in the courts. So they're battling. They can't decide, undecided. He could have a special deal with the feds. He pleads guilty and then he goes, lives on a nice little. Yes, he's going to, in the end, I think he's going to make a deal with the feds, Joel. That's a state case, but you have this deal here, 2 of Cups, fighting and ultimately a deal. I think because he's mentally ill. Look at this. Tower and the moon coming to Trump. I mean, how does someone that crazy become the president? That's what I'd like to know. Yolanda or Aranda. Rustic tart goes well with beautiful rainy morning in Oakland, California. Thank you for saying that. I've got a bunch of apples and I need to do something with them. So maybe I'll make something out of them. Yeah. K Travel, my love. Hello. He's running for speaker, Byron Donalds. Let's take a look. Well, they need to pick somebody because it is not good. Maybe, Kay. The race running quickly. He has endorsement. People are, what's going on also, Kay, is that people are starting to look under the hood. Like what happened with Jim Jordan when we went into the remote and we found that Republicans and Democrats were working together to expose him and put crap in the press so that, to take him out, to make sure that he couldn't win. So you have this scholarship. Whoever they put up is going to be pounced by both Democrats and Republicans going through his laundry, his dirty laundry. And is this guy stable? Is this guy in any way affiliated with January 6th? Like if any of that, that is where they're at with this guy. And then he's got a star as his outcome. So he could be endorsed, but both sides are looking under the hood. I don't know anything about the guy, but the fact that he pulled that kind of a juxtaposition with a scholarship card like the Hermit as his hope and a fear, you can be sure that they're looking under the hood with him. Yeah, 100%. But can you blame them given what's happened to their party? The insurrectionists have destroyed their party. And so if you're semi-sane, you're going to do everything in your power to look under the hood and make sure another lunatic doesn't represent your party. If you're a moderate, and that's what the Democrats and the Republicans are doing with this guy right now. And with anybody, I imagine, that decides they want to run. Thank you, Giovanna, for that donation. It's appreciated. Thank you, Gloria. Very kind of you. Joel is like me. He's got to have his coffee. Korean mocha. Ooh, You know what? Has anyone been to Koreatown in Los Angeles? They have the most amazing coffee shops. A lot of people don't know that, but I've had some really great coffee in that part of the world, and really good pastries. Romney told the truth about today's GOP. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, but at the same time, don't you think that he was middle of the road to the point where, I mean, he didn't really fully hold Trump accountable when he had the ability to be involved in impeaching and getting the guy out of there. The fact that he didn't do that is the reason we had January 6th. So I'm not exactly a fan of Mitt Romney, because a lot of, you know, if somebody from his party had stepped up and done the right thing, January 6th wouldn't have happened. So. And Mitt Romney used to not be so. I don't think you would say his time in Massachusetts was particularly, Trumpian. So I don't know what that was about. If he was just, if he wasn't even, I mean, he doesn't even plan to run again anyway. So why was he so afraid to take a stand on anything? I don't know. A message from George Washington. I've never tried that, but let's use the Lenormand cards. I do love my Lenormands. I've learned how to say it, Lenormands. Let's see if we have a message from George Washington. If there's anything we can do to make America better. It's a fun question. Thank you, Geocosmic. Things are too serious right now. First off, I am the man. I am sexy. I am as sexy as you thought I was. I was a sexy man. I was the man. I mean, it's kind of like interesting. Didn't they make a bust of him that they wanted to make him like a Greek god? And I think this guy had a bit of an ego. They made a Greek statue of George Washington, and the review of the Greek statue was, I want to see it floating in the Potomac River. Just throw it in the Potomac. Yes, macho man. He must have, in his time, the time of Homer and the praise singers, where they would write about Odysseus going off and battling, and praise Odysseus, and he has many beautiful goddesses that love Odysseus, the praise singers, right? So in his time, George Washington had praise singers. He had people that were praising and singing songs to him. And so in his time, he was probably depicted as this sexy man, right? So it may have been because they were trying to get support for the war that they were creating this kind of image of him as bigger than life. And but I took an art appreciation class, and they showed like the Greek god. It was a Greek god statue, and then they had placed his head on it, and it really was quite hideous. But I get the political implications. But in terms of, it's interesting though that they picked that card to represent him. The main message that they're saying is, we gave you everything you need in order to build a great nation. That's the message from George Washington. It's already there. Don't mess up the sauce. Don't mess up the sauce. We already gave you a great recipe, the Constitution, the book. We already gave it to you, the living document, the law of the land. Just go back to the basics. Create an amendment. We did that deliberately because we knew it was imperfect. You got to keep perfecting the union, right? So the main message from George Washington is don't screw with the sauce. The Constitution is the law of the land. Don't rewrite the Constitution, right? We didn't say go and have independent people with guns that can fire rocket launchers off their guns and all this other crazy stuff that's happening. They said that a well-organized militia, the U.S. Army, had a right to exist, and the U.S. Army does have a right to exist. The militia, which became the U.S. military. So he's basically saying don't rewrite it. Don't change the words to suit your political agenda. Stick to the basics. Stick to the sauce. Don't change the sauce. Work together. Help each other. Love each other. Help each other. You're all one country. You're all one nation. You're all one perfect union. Help each other. Love each other. And his final message, you're all very confused. You Americans are very confused, but I want you to be comforted in knowing that the founding mothers and fathers, we deliberately organized it that way. So if you're confused, you're doing it right. Keep asking questions. Everyone is in a different place, a different area in the maze that is the Constitution. We designed it that way. We did it like that deliberately so that we could maintain individuality. You're all confused, and that's how we like it. We want you to continue to explore new ways of creating a perfect union. We're all walking our own path, and we all have to find our own way. We're all individuals, but we are all Americans. Each walks their own path alone, an individual. And yet together we work to create a perfect union. Stick with the basics. That is the message from George Washington. I love what he said. You're confused. We designed it that way. Be an individual. Isn't that wonderful? I thought he was going to attack us. You Americans are confused. We're like all in the maze. Well, what about this law? What about, well, I found this over there. They're all walking around confused, asking questions. Good. Keep asking those questions and keep being an individual while being part of the perfect union, collectively creating the perfect union. If you get that, you get me, you get George Washington, you get what we were trying to do. I love how America ends, not as this perfect homogenous but a bunch of people walking each alone in this maze, trying to find their place. Back to the one, back to the perfect union. Isn't that awesome that he gave those images to us? Thank you, Carol. That was lovely. You have bought several yummy, delicious meals for the people of Gaza. And I'm sure they very much appreciate them. Should we do a couple more before we close? What do y'all think? Tastes very good. Have you guys tried it yet? I like egg creams. So it's like it's the closest I can get to like that taste and have it be vegan. Bolt chai, the recipe, I used coconut water, soda water. You can do chocolate syrup. I use chocolate powder or chocolate syrup, and vegan vanilla chai, and then I mixed it together. But the vegan vanilla chai doesn't have any tea in it. It's just a little bit of spice and a sweet soy milk from Bolt's Farm. So that's how I made it. And to me, that combination tastes very similar to a New York egg cream. Mm. So you guys want to switch things over and talk a little bit about what's going on with some of the local lawsuits. You guys know Michael Cohen is in the middle of, I mean, good God, you hear he is like, I think if I was Michael Cohen, I would probably have had a nervous breakdown a long time ago. He can't do that. He's got a kid to take care of. He's got a wife, but yeah, Giovanna, he has to be in court this week. I'll use the Lenormand again. Let's check on Michael Cohen. I gotta say, I used to not like him when he was working, but he has really, my heart goes out to that guy. Gee Louise. It's, Trump is just so vindictive. You turn on Trump, he will. Yeah. Lucha Macho guy again. Strong male. This is a strong man. He's strong. He's a strong guy. Evidence against him. The polar bear, the freeze, right? He's getting the freeze. It's a mountain to climb. So basically, the job of the lawyers is to just create a mountain for him to climb. The purpose is to make life hard for Michael Cohen. The only reason this was done was to make life hell for Michael Cohen. This is so stupid. They'll drop the case and they don't want to get a countersuit if he clarifies what he meant and apologizes to Trump, because Trump doesn't want to really sue him. So Trump comes to him like a child, pointing out what you said hurt my feelings. And if you just say you're sorry, I'll drop it. No, it's too late. You're going to get countersued. He comes as a child. You hurt me, child. It's not enough, kid. No. Mm-mm. No. Cohen wins. He's going to get sued. Cohen's got the good luck on him. Going to the well. He's going to take from Trump. Trump's going to lose. Trump doesn't even have any money. He's just another person being sued. What did Midas Touch say? I know that they're friends. Michael Cohen, he has a peaceful life. Thank God. Thank God, considering. What a nightmare. Can you imagine having to deal with that? I do want to find out if he's going to be pardoned by Biden. My instincts would say no, because it would be considered too political, but maybe the president after Biden can do it, because it might be considered too, he's too politically close, Biden, but Ford did it. So let's see. Ford did it for Nixon, didn't he? They say that it's the decision of the Justice Department. Biden, it's not Biden's call. If the Justice Department and if the people that are part of social justice, if his name is on the list of people requesting pardons, that it is recommended by the Justice Department that these people are on the list, that they were unjustly or falsely accused or served an unjust sentence, those names are given by the Justice Department and also by certain legal groups. So at this point, if you're asking me to remote view Biden, he's confused about what the conclusion was from the Justice Department. I'm not going to be writing pardons until I get objective reality feedback from the necessary people. I don't just emotionally start pardoning. The owl of death. It's like, no, I haven't. There's a protocol. These 20 people we believe are innocent, or we believe that these individuals served their time, or these individuals were falsely imprisoned, to be the bridge. So he's very conservative. He's very judicious. He's in touch with reality. Show me the data. Who's saying what, why, how? What's the information? He also got, which I thought was kind of interesting, the Tree of Life. So that is a card that often will come in these types of readings when somebody is given an out. You know, like on Yom Kippur, when you pray, I've done all these terrible things. Please don't, please show me mercy. I don't want to die this year, right? The Tree of Life, right? So in this particular reading, I would interpret it as, is this guy going to be shown mercy at all by this individual, the Tree of Life? The final outcome is the dog. And the dog is notoriously loyal. And so he presents Biden as loyal. He is an unbelievably compassionate, loyal human being. And so if it is determined independently by the Justice Department that he got screwed over by Barr, and if everything supports that, regardless of whether or not it's popular to do so, he will pardon Michael Cohen. The answer is he will if the Justice Department says, yes, there are grounds here to pardon Michael Cohen based on his cooperation with ongoing investigations and the amount of information that he was able to contribute, which led to multiple convictions, etc., is the opinion of the Justice Department that he be pardoned. That appears to be where we're headed. And so for that reason, he will likely be pardoned. If not this term, then the following term, because I believe that Biden will be reelected. And I believe that he will serve, he will be a public servant until he's 93, and that at the age of 93, he will go into retirement. I don't know how old he is. I just read cards. Well, I think that that's what happened with all the presidents, right? He'll serve a second term. So if he's what is he, 78? What is he, 80? What is he? Okay. So he serves until he's 84. He can do what? 10 more years of public service. Like Clinton and Carter did with serving in Africa, that sort of thing. But I don't see him dying or anything. His heart health is incredible. I mean, the man doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. It's because of his wife. I mean, he lives on a diet that's so clean. I mean, maybe he gets a little ice cream on, occasionally, but he's on a diet that's mostly vegetables and fish. I mean, that's most of the Biden diet. Mostly pescatarian, almost no animal fat. Joe Biden is, I think, a physical fitness doctorate. Where's my... Oh, Carter loves cat. Actually, catfish is one of the most environmentally friendly fish to eat. It actually helps the environment to buy catfish because the catfish farmers are eco-friendly, and it cleans the system. And supposedly it's not dangerous to eat if you do farmed catfish. Yeah, so if you are a meat eater, you don't have to feel that you're not harming the environment if you have catfish. It's not an ocean fish, and it can be easily domesticated, and it actually cleans up all the garbage. So if you're looking at what fish we can eat that are not hurting the environment, catfish is like the top of the list. My dad loved catfish because he was a Southern boy, but I think it has to be someone that knows how to make it. I mean, I've had it all kinds of different ways. I like it breaded with Thousand Island dressing. Catfish Corner in Seattle, Washington, which I guess doesn't exist anymore, but they used to do fried strips with what was it, like it was like a Thousand Island dressing. It was really good. Yeah. It's a fish you can eat without feeling that's not going to hurt the planet. No Trump library. Okay, we'll do one more. Joel got me inspired by this question. Will Trump ever have a library? Thank you, everyone who has donated to the World Central Kitchen to help the people of Gaza. We have raised $1,555 for the people there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, he's got good luck. Yes, he will have a library. Independent people will start a small library. It's going to be in a building that houses other things. So it won't be an independent structure. It appears to be part of another building. An independent person with money decided to take part of his building and convert part of it into the Trump Museum to educate people about the history of his time as president. And so it kind of looks like it's, if you go to a mall and it has some kind of a section in it, an outdoor mall, it almost looks like that. And that becomes the Trump library. It's almost as if an independent person comes along and says, well, I would like to educate people about his so I put my own money up. He gets his wish, the good luck card. The clock. I think it's already being created. The lily, the flowers of death. The clown. I mean, I think it's, does it become a joke? Not to the person that creates it. I don't think the person that creates it thinks it's a joke, but it certainly doesn't have the dignity of, say, the Reagan Library or something like that. I guess it's better than nothing, right? All right. Thank you, everyone, for your love and support of the channel. I am doing all of the Wizios today. So if you're frustrated that you haven't gotten your Wizios back, Wizios are the 5-minute readings I do for people. If you cannot afford a full reading with me, that's cool. We do Wizios. They're 5-minute pre-taped videos with me. And I think they cost something like $30. So the information is below. So if you ordered a Wizio from me in the last few days, I am behind, but I am getting them out today. If you need to talk to me directly and you do want to have a 30-minute tarot reading or an hour tarot reading, that information is below. You book through Booksy, and then I'll call you back. All right, everyone. I love you all. Thank you so much for your love and support, for your subscriptions, for memberships, everything else. Be kind to all so that all can be kind to you too. And have a great week, everybody. Much love. Thank you.